Hey everybody, thank you for coming to my channel. This is Think Better with Dale Shover. Today I want to share with you how gratitude actually helped me to be a better dad and a better person in general. I also want to share with you some of the scientifically proven benefits of a daily gratitude practice that benefit not just mental health, but your physical health as well. And then finally, I'm going to give you some tips for how you can bring some more gratitude into your own life. So let's get started. So look guys, we all know there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world today. There's a lot of negativity out there, a lot of anxiety, division, discord, all that stuff. And frankly, if you're anything like me, it's starting to wear you down. So I think every day, what if there was just a little bit more gratitude in the world? What if people were just a little bit more kind and graceful with each other? Could things be very different? Now I say this because I've learned it from my own personal experience. So I used to have some anger issues, right? Not crazy, but I mean like your average guy. I had some anger issues. I had some frustration and I would get annoyed at small stuff. My kids, unfortunately, took the biggest brunt of that. I love my children, but you know, they leave their stuff around. So like the shoes, for example. If you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. Between my two kids, they probably had 100 pairs of shoes. The shoes were never in the closet. The shoes were always in the kitchen, in the dining room. We had shoes in the hallway, shoes everywhere. I'm stepping on the shoes, tripping on the shoes. I ask them to put the shoes away. They don't put the shoes away. It drives me nuts. Don't know why, but it drives me nuts, right? But here's what was happening is oftentimes I'd end up shouting at the kids, right? There was no need for me to get angry and frustrated over something as small as shoes. Well, so when I started to try to deal with this and remove these frustrations and stress from my life, my wife suggested a gratitude practice. Okay, well, I'm a skeptic. So I'm thinking, what is a gratitude practice? That sounds ridiculous. Why would I do that? I tried it a couple of times. It didn't work. You know, you're supposed to go 21 days, gratitude practice. Finally, I got it to stick. I lasted like 15 days. I walk into the kitchen one day, and there's shoes on the floor, of course. I lean over, I move the shoes out of the way, didn't sweat it. A couple of minutes later, I realized what just happened. Oh my God, I didn't get frustrated about the shoes. It was a gratitude practice. Guys, listen, gratitude helps you to be more calm, less frustrated, not get triggered or annoyed as easily. Gratitude, when you have it ingrained in your brain, helps you to see the good in things instead of the bad. So I'm a big fan of gratitude. So it turns out I'm not the only gratitude fan out there. There's actually hard science to it nowadays. It's not one of these wishy-washy woo-woo things anymore. They actually know how gratitude affects the brain. But first, let's talk about what is gratitude. So to be grateful is to be appreciative of some benefit that's received, okay? And it can be a very powerful emotion. So for me, I kind of have that feeling of calm that happens when I'm grateful. There's this warmth that starts in my belly and kind of rises up. It's just this feeling of love. It's almost a joy that you feel when you're really, really sitting in true gratitude. Now, if you are a person who tends toward gratitude, you're going to be much more likely to see the positive things in life rather than the negative. And it's not just about your kids and their shoes. You can apply this to all areas of your life. So let's say, for example, that you have a difficult coworker. Now, this could be somebody with a bad attitude or just somebody that annoys you on a regular basis. You can shift the situation by wiring yourself for gratitude so that it's easier for you to see the good in that person and to not be bothered by the annoying stuff. And even when you do see the negative things, they'll be much less likely to bother you. Now, this doesn't just work for people, this works for situations too. So anything that happens like in the world, stuff that you hear on the news, it could be something that's going on in your community, something going on at your kid's school. So the more wired you are for gratitude, the more likely you're going to focus on the things that you have and the less on the things that you don't have. So what are the benefits of gratitude? Now, you might have noticed there's a lot of hype around gratitude nowadays. As you'll hear it in social media, it's probably even the news, and you can read about it. It's probably because there has been a big increase in scientific study on the topic of gratitude. Specifically, they are studying the parts of the brain that are impacted by feelings of gratitude. And it turns out there actually are tangible, real-life benefits. Now, the physiological reasons for the benefits of gratitude have to do with the release of two chemicals in the brain. I'm going to reference the article below in the description, which you can go back and look at later. So the first chemical is a hormone called serotonin, which does a whole lot of stuff in the brain, including triggering the happiness area of the brain. The other chemical is called tachykinin, difficult to say, which is actually a punishment chemical. And what it does is it reduces your immunity, it causes you to be more likely to be angry and frustrated, and it can even cause irritable aggression. Gratitude has been shown to reduce that chemical. So it increases serotonin, which is the happy chemical, and it decreases tachykinin, which is the unhappy chemical. Basically what all this boils down to is that performing an effective gratitude practice, and we'll talk about what that means here in a minute, even if it's only once per week, can have a very measurable positive impact on your overall well-being. People report feeling happier, having more meaning in their life, more joy in their life, improved relationships. And not just the relationships for which you express gratitude, all of your relationships in your life. It even helps you build resilience to traumas, both your past traumas and even your future traumas. And there is science to prove all of this. So if gratitude has all these benefits, why wouldn't you want more of it, right? But how? How do you create more gratitude in your life? Because if you think about it, outside of Thanksgiving, we aren't normally very intentional about feeling gratitude, are we? I mean, for most of us, gratitude only happens when we receive something. Maybe someone brings you food when you're sick, or somebody helps you out financially when you're in trouble, or maybe you get a raise at work, or some friend of yours solves a major problem for you. We have the feeling of gratitude in the moment, but then it passes. Good news is that there are a few techniques that you can practice to help you be intentionally grateful without somebody having to do something for you. And I'm going to give you a few of these techniques with some repetition will help you get to a place where I was, which is less frustration, less annoyance, more calm, more ability to see the good in things. In my case, my practice involved a gratitude journal, which ironically has actually been shown by the latest science to be less effective than other techniques. But it worked for me, so I disagree with the scientists in this case. Now, more likely than not, it's one of those situations where it works for some people and doesn't work as well for other people, but there's a lot of stuff out there that's like that, so let's just disregard that for the moment. Anyway, a gratitude journal is where you spend a couple of minutes each day, usually in the morning, writing down the things that you're grateful for. They can be big things, they can be small things. Like for example, would write down, I'm grateful for my health, right? I told you I had been sick, so I had a lot of gratitude for my health. You've got gratitude for your house. You have gratitude for your relationships. And there's even the little things. I would write that I was grateful for my toothbrush. And when you do it, you need to be very intentional about it. So it's not just about writing the stuff down. It's about writing the stuff down and feeling those emotions. But what the latest science has shown to be more effective is when you receive gratitude from other people for things that you've done for them, or when you are a witness to someone else expressing gratitude, which may or may not have had anything to do with you. There's a study from USC, University of Southern California, where they took volunteers and had those volunteers listen to stories from Holocaust survivors who were talking about how they had had their lives saved, how they'd been sheltered by strangers, they had been given life-saving food and water, and these Holocaust survivors are expressing their gratitude for those things in these stories. So basically what was happening is that these volunteers were able to empathize with the Holocaust survivors through these stories, right? They were able to share that feeling of gratitude, and what they found is that this was triggering the areas of the brain that are associated with reward, specifically with the reward that occurs when a stress is removed. So, if you want to have more gratitude in your life so that you can have less anxiety, less frustration, less annoyance, and all that other stuff that we talked about, here's what I can recommend that you do. You can choose between a gratitude journal, which, as I said before, that's where you spend a couple of minutes each morning writing down the things that you're grateful for. You can think about and have the emotions of someone giving you their gratitude, right? So one thing you might do is take a family member or a friend and exchange letters of gratitude with that person. And then during your practice, you read that letter and have appreciation for those feelings of someone else's gratitude towards you. The third thing you can do is what they did in the USC study, is go find a story that really resonates with you of someone expressing their own gratitude for something that happened in their life, and share with them in that gratitude by reading the story. The key thing is that when you do this, regardless of which practice that you do, and maybe you can mix it up and do one day, the other the next day, what you have to do is make sure that you're not just reading the stuff or writing the stuff and thinking about other things. What you're doing is you're internalizing the emotions and the feelings of the gratitude so that you really feel it down deep inside. That's key. So I really hope that was helpful for you. I hope you got some good nuggets out of this. I hope you're going to go and exercise your gratitude practice and bring more goodness into your life. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for coming to my channel. Again, this is Think Better with Dale Shover. If you like it, please subscribe. I will be creating more videos explaining a lot of this stuff in more detail. Come back and visit me. Thank you very much.